In the last episode, we exported the object and its material from Cinema 4D using the bake object function and also the file export and export as an OBJ or wavefront object. And now it's time to shoot up or fire up After Effects and Elements 3D and start working and creating our animation. So let's get going. I'm going to just go to my Spotlight and write After Effects. Alright, and then After Effects will fire up. Now remember, please save your project before you start working on it, because it does happen once in a while that your system will crash and After Effects will crash and you're going to lose everything that you did. Okay, so just go into File, Save As, and then navigate to where you want to save this. And in our case, it's the commercial breakdown, After Effects. All right, and then here I'm going to call this master, or you know what, we're going to call this main animation. All right, so now we have that over here, and now we are ready to go. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to go to Composition, New Composition, and I'm going to create this composition. It's a preset. It's called HD TV 1080p. 1080 at 24p basically means that the width is 1920, the height is 1080, and the frames per second are 24. And maybe we want to get, I'm gonna leave the duration on 35 and 5 frames. It doesn't really matter. Background color is going to be black, and I'm gonna click OK. So now we have our composition done. The next action I'm going to do is, well, first off, I'm actually going to kind of create a sample background that we can later on tweak on. So let's do that. I'm going to go to Layer, New, Solid, and I'm going to just, this one is going to be maybe this kind of, maybe a color like that. But I'm going to show you that it doesn't really matter what color you choose right now, because we're going to work with that. All right, so here we have the solid, this gray solid, and now I'm going to go to Layer, create a new solid, and then this solid I'm going to kind of maybe make a little bit darker. Okay, so now I have that, and now I have these two solids. So we have the darker one on the top and the other one at the bottom over here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my mask tool, and I'm going to click that and select my rounded, or sorry, my ellipse tool, and then I'm going to just double click. So now we have this mask covering this top layer. I'm going to go into my mask options, and let's move this up. And then what I want to do is in the mask one on the here, I'm going to go to subtract, and then I'm going to feather that up real nice, so we kind of have this. All right, so now this is going to be somewhat of our basically our background, but it's not really totally true, because I want to set it up in a way that later on I won't have to go back and tweak the colors. Just like, obviously you can tweak the colors if you go to the layer and then go to Layer, Solid Setting, and select that. But I want to avoid that. I want to have something like a button that I can control this layer. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer, but this layer is going to be just a null object. Okay, so here it is. This is this null, and I'm going to call this Background Settings. Alright, so what I want to do is I'm going to use a different method to control the colors of the layers. I'm going to show you how that works. So first off, what we want to do is we want to be able to use this background setting null to control this solids. Okay, so let's call this main, and this one is going to be vignette. So now we have the main, and then we have the vignette. Now I'm going to go to my effects controlled, or my effects and presets, and I'm going to write tint. Okay, so I'm going to use this tint. I'm going to put this on this main layer. Okay, and basically this tint effect kind of, you know, we can just change the colors just by mapping the black to whatever we want. Okay, so I'm just going to reset that, sorry, And then what I'm going to do is on the background setting, I'm going to go to Effect, and then I'm going to go to Expression Control, and then I'm going to use a Color Control Expression. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the background setting and connect that to this tint effect over here. All right. So to do that, I'm going to just twirl this open, go to Effect, Tint, and then map black 2. And now over here, I'm going to have that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, on the map black 2. I'm going to click Alt and click. And now we have this expression control. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick whip this from here, okay, to, here. So now what happened is that we are telling After Effects that this layer's background or this layer's color is being governed by the color setting on the null. Now what we want to do is call this color control. All right, we want to name that, rename that main. All right, and then we are going to do the same for the vignette. So we are going to duplicate that. All right, so this is going to be color control vignette. And now we are going to go to the vignette and also drop the tint on it. And now we are going to twirl this up on the vignette, go to Effects, Tint, and then Map Black 2. And we are going to Alt click that. And here we are going to pick whip this from here to here. Okay, so again, what we basically did was to use two effects on the background setting null. And with these effects, we are actually controlling the effect that is controlling the color for the layer. But instead of just going into the layer and having to tweak them, we're just going to do that from here. Now, the cool thing about that is that if we just select these two layers and click on the shy mode switch, and now click on the shy switch, we don't actually see the layer because we're going to have lots and lots of layers, and like that we just see this layer and no one is going to play around with that. And if we want to control the main, maybe we want to make it kind of bluish, we can do that. And then here maybe we want to get it a little bit kind of something like this, maybe, or maybe we want to get it a little bit darker. So we are open to kind of do whatever we want to do, but we don't see the layers. We don't have to go to each individual layer, and we can even just make them disappear. And like that, when we give the animation to someone else, there is no option that he's going to mess it up because he doesn't actually see the layer. He doesn't know what's going on. So basically, this is the system that I like to work with. And again, it does take some time to set it up, but it is worth your time. So now let's get moving and continue with our project. And we do that in the next episode.